Eliminating foods from your diet should not be your goal when you're trying to heal from any chronic illness. Nourishing your body with the right foods, that should be your primary goal. I am Anindita and I am a functional medicine certified health coach, and I work with women with chronic illnesses like autoimmune conditions, reverse their symptoms using a body guided functional medicine approach. And today I'm going to talk about what your goal should be, why eliminating foods cannot be the primary objective when you are trying to make changes and reverse your symptoms. So I'm working currently with a client who, when she signed up with me, she was all excited about, getting started, making dietary changes, because she knew that, that was a big step. Food is medicine for all of us, especially when we are dealing with any kind of chronic illness. But she had one worry, one major concern, and that's something that I find, of course, extremely common, very understandable. So her concern was that what if the diet plan that I'm put on is too rigid for me, right? What if it's too strict, it's too limiting, it's too rigid? And of course, it is understandable to have such concerns. It is understandable if you have similar concerns. So if you are asking yourself questions like, will I really be able to eliminate these foods, all these foods from my list, right? Because especially when we are dealing with any severe chronic illnesses like an autoimmune condition, we are asked to remove gluten, we are asked to remove dairy, most likely corn, soy, eggs, and even some other foods from our diets. So it's quite hard. And you also might be asking yourself, asking this question that I have tried so many different diets before. I have tried going off dairy, I have gone off gluten for 3 months, but it's not really worked. So how will this, whether this will work for me or not at this time? And you may also be asking yourself, I am already off so many foods because I'm already taken off these list of foods due to my allergies, due to my intolerances, because they were making me sick. What else is left to eliminate? What else is, what other changes can I really make? How, will I socialize? How will I go out with my friends? What will I get to eat actually? There's be hardly anything left. And these are all very valid concerns, right? So you're not alone in this. And I'm telling you what I told my client, right? So, and this is something that I share with all my clients, especially at the beginning when we start the journey together, when we start working on diet, because food is medicine, that's always where we start. And I'm telling you now what I told her is that eliminating foods from your diet should never be your end goal. Cannot be your only goal, cannot be your end goal, right? Nourishing your body with the right foods, with what foods that your body needs right now, that needs to be your goal. Your body needs your support, and you are going to give your body what it needs right now to heal, right? To reverse your symptoms, to get better. That's what your goal should be. And your diet should reflect that. Your diet should be customized for that. Of course, having said that, there are certain foods which are inflammatory in nature, which we know are problematic. So we do take off these foods, and maybe a couple of these foods like gluten and maybe even dairy and few other foods may be off for a lifetime. But most of the other foods are usually for a while we actually address gut health issues, while we address toxins and other, maybe chronic infections. And we, when we get better, we can actually add many of these foods back into our diet. But more than that, it is about having the right kind of foods that supplies your body with all the nutrients that your body needs right now to bring it back into balance, to restore balance, right? So whether it's your immune system which is out of balance, your endocrine system which is out of balance, your digestion, assimilation which is not working properly, all of these functions have to be restored, and focusing on the right foods will help you to do just that. So in this session, I will share some tips as to how you can do this without feeling deprived or overwhelmed. As I mentioned, this is something that I have been, I work with my clients very closely because food is a big part of the healing process. So having the right attitudes, the right perspective is extremely important when it comes to food, right? So now you may be asking yourself this: how do I exactly do this? right? I still have to eliminate foods like gluten, dairy, coffee, all some of the things that I love. And how will I sustain these changes? How will I go out with my friends when I want to? How will I enjoy life, right? Life as I have known it so far, it's going to change, and I'm not sure I am ready to do that. So what I would like to offer you is a different perspective, and I say this with a lot of love, but I want to point out that you are probably asking the wrong questions, right? The question is not whether, and especially this is true especially if you're already dealing with a chronic illness, if you're suffering from it, if you're struggling with pain, with discomfort, with digestive issues, you're missing out on life. So the question that you should be really asking yourself is, how can I afford not to make these changes? How can I afford not to take these foods out from my diet, or get into customize a diet that currently supports my body? And what price am I paying by not supporting my body's healing process? What am I giving up on? Because a lot of times the price that we pay is actually in a way invisible to us, right? Because you see, most people are focused only on the most obvious things they're giving up on. So obviously certain foods, which they love dearly, so foods like gluten, like dairy, milk, cheese, these are things that obviously we love having. Maybe coffee, so they have to change the way they eat. When they go out, when they socialize, a lot of things have to change. They have to plan ahead where they are going, maybe, and the meals have to be prepared, and I get it, it's really hard. But often what they don't realize is the price that they eventually have to pay, right? If they don't provide their body with the key nutrients like minerals, vitamins, phytochemicals, and remove foods which are causing inflammation, their bodies can't really handle it. And obviously the bodies can't produce nutrients from thin air. As a result, they become malnourished, fatigued, they are in pain, and much more than that, the body is not able to restore balance, and they're not able to get better. So they lose out on doing things that they used to love. Maybe they love dancing, they love painting, they used to go to work. They are not able to, they don't have the energy to play with their children, enjoy, spend time with their families, and so much more. They're missing out, and they're paying a huge price in terms of their quality of life. Of course, apart from food and diet, there are other factors like poor digestion, like chronic infections, toxin exposure, chronic stress. They all have a big role to play, but it all starts with your diet, right? The whole healing journey starts with the food that you're eating every single day, right? 3 times a day. And in functional medicine and in other traditional healthcare systems like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, we know and we believe that food is medicine. It has the power to heal us. So we need to move away from a mindset of deprivation to a mindset that is going to help heal us, right? Like a healing mindset. I think this is the single biggest step that we may need to take, and that single biggest change that we may need to make, right? So this is something that most of my clients have struggled with, and I have found that the most effective way to help them deal with this change is by changing one word in their life, right? So when they're trying to make dietary changes, when they're struggling to sustain them, when they're feeling deprived and overwhelmed, rather than saying, I need to eliminate or I need to remove these foods from my diet, I teach them to say, I get to remove these foods from my diet, because it will help me to get better. So changing that one word from need to get makes all the difference, right? And this one word can make a huge difference. So for you, it will help you to remember why you got started on your healing journey in the first place. Why is it important for you to get better, and what you may lose out on if you don't. However, apart from eating the right foods, apart from changing the way you are looking at it, there are a few other things that you need to keep in mind. Number one, your eating hygiene really matters. You see, how you eat is as important as what you're eating. Even if you're eating all the right foods, if your body is not producing enough stomach acid, enough digestive enzymes, you will still suffer from maldigestion, malabsorption, and finally malnutrition. So your eating hygiene and how you're eating it, are you stressed when you eat, are you sitting down, are you relaxed, right? That is as important as the foods that you're consuming. So that's a very big step, and this is something that I teach right at the beginning of my coaching program to my clients, even as we start focusing on their dietary changes. The second thing that you need to keep in mind is that there is, of course, no one right diet. While there are certain common foods like gluten, corn, soy, dairy, eggs, which are a problem for most people with chronic illnesses, for example, in autoimmune conditions, we certainly know that gluten is a huge problem, dairy is a problem as well, yeast can be a problem for many people, and we need to remove these foods. And there might be other foods like pea, etc. There is simply no one right diet, which is why no one diet works for everyone. And then of course there can be that we may need to go low carb, we may need to go high fat, so these are finally have to be customized. Maybe low fiber, more cooked food, less raw food. More than the label, what is important is what your body needs right now, which is why taking a body guided approach, working with your body as a guide, becomes so important. And this is exactly what I do in my coaching program. All my clients are taught how to become more aware of what their body needs, as a support, in dietary support and all kinds of support. And that is the best way that you will actually be able to support your body, because it's exactly what your body needs to heal. And finally, what is equally as important is what are you actually adding to your diet. So taking out certain foods are important because it stops the inflammation, the chronic inflammation. It stops fueling the fire that probably is raging on inside. But are you consuming enough plant foods? Are you consuming enough fruits and vegetables? Are you eating the colors of the rainbow, which gives your entire range of phytonutrients, which is so important for our immune function, good healthy immune function? Are you consuming enough protein? Are you consuming enough healthy fats, and maybe even healthy carbs? Carbs are not all bad. It's refined carbs that becomes a problem, but even vegetables and fruits are carbs. So having that's important for us to consume. Are you having enough fiber, or are you dealing with constipation for that matter? Are you having enough water, right? Minerals, salts, all these are so important. So again, only focusing on removing foods, it's not going to, it's not the entire picture. It's not going to be enough for your body, especially when you're dealing with chronic health issues. You need to also focus on all these three areas. The number one was that your eating hygiene, you have to focus on that. Number two, to keep in mind that there is no one right diet. And also what is equally as important as elimination is what you are adding on to your diet, right? So as Dr. Mark Hyman had said, we know that food is medicine, perhaps the most powerful drug on the planet, with the power to cause or cure most diseases, right? So I have opened up some slots for booking a free discovery call. I'll be opening enrollment in my coaching program, Healing from Within, in next month. So if you would like to know what your next step should be, what's really going on, you can schedule a free 30 minutes discovery call. The link will be in the bio, and the link will be shared below in Facebook. Make sure that you schedule a call now.